7:30 this morning, a young girl is still fighting for her life this morning as police investigate her mother's death. This morning we have updates on a story we brought you yesterday right here on Up with KREM.
Experts now say COVID variants in schools are the cause of a large amount of spread. Now the push to get vaccines approved for use on young adults, and when experts think most will be fully vaccinated.
And we're going to take you outside on this mild morning. We got to talk about wind picking up across the region today.
Up with KREM begins now.
7:30 on your Tuesday morning. Welcome back and thanks for hanging out with us. Well, a writer from Condé Nast Traveler named 2 waterfalls in the Northwest as the best in the nation. One of those is pretty close to us. Check it out. Palouse Falls in southeastern Washington features a 200-foot drop into a gorge. The writer says it looks something like out of an ice age. Do you have photos that you love of the Palouse Falls? Send them to us. 509-448-2000. We'd love to see them. What a beautiful view to kick off our show this morning. Absolutely amazing. Something I still have to do. I've lived in Washington a long time, haven't gone over there. So if you have any recommendations and a little bit of inspiration for us this morning, send it in.
I love that it's described as like something that's out of Jurassic Park. Isn't that the most perfect representation?
Yeah, just prehistoric.
That's right.
You just head right down. It's 2 hours away.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I know, there's no excuse. I think, Jeremy, that's your next adventure with Jeremy, and I'll come with.
All right. If you're inviting yourself, do you know how
I
to
am.
work a camera?
I'm inviting myself. I could be your camera woman.
All right, cool. Let's do it. All right. Putting it on the books, but for now, let's get you out the door and let you know what to expect throughout the day today. We've got plenty of sunshine now and mild temperatures, somewhat related, those temperatures and that sunshine, but the wind helped keep us from dropping too much overnight. We are down in the 30s, but we didn't drop below freezing. We're already up in the 40s in Moses Lake and Wenatchee this morning, but the wind is expected to stay strong. It's already picked up, and we'll see wind gusts up near 30 to 35 miles per hour throughout the day here in Spokane. And out in central portions of Washington and North Idaho, wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour are going to play a role in what we see today. It's a blowing dust advisory for central portions of the state and that wind advisory for North Idaho for the potential of minor tree limb damage as we move through the day. It's just because that wind is light. It's not as heavy as or strong as what we've seen recently, so that is a bit of good news. But it is going to be windy nonetheless. Wind is about all we have to contend with. Other than that, it is sunshine and clear skies overhead. Temperatures go from the upper 30s into the mid 50s later on today. That wind does a decent job of keeping us cool. Once we get rid of it, a big change is in the works, and I'll have those details coming up in your full forecast.
Here now at 7:33 this morning, a 5-year-old Spokane girl continues to fight for her life as she was attacked on Sunday and suffered life-threatening injuries. Spokane police are also investigating the death of her mother, who they found in their home. The suspect being investigated in this case was found locked in their North Spokane garage with the car running. Yesterday, balloons, flowers, and a card laid in their yard from family and friends. And we spoke to a few neighbors off camera who tell us that they are heartbroken for the girl and her family. They describe her as a sweet little girl, adding the family moved into the home about a year ago. Police have not confirmed any identities. The suspect is still in the hospital, and it's unknown when he will be released. However, once released, he will be booked into jail, and then police will release his name. Charges will also be filed then as well.
Now, family members tell KREM 2 News that the suspects knew both victims. This could be the latest case in an increase in intimate partner violence. So before the pandemic began, Spokane County had the highest rate of domestic violence in Washington, being a few points higher than the state average. Advocates say the pandemic has only exacerbated this issue. The YWCA, that's a nonprofit dedicated to empowering survivors of abuse, say isolation and financial concerns may cause this increase in violence.
At YWCA Spokane last year, we saw an increase of 1,500 more calls to our DV helpline.
Calls to the YWCA hotline increased more than 40% in 2020, moving from an average of 3,500 calls in 2019 to 5,000 in 2020. If you'd like to reach out to the YWCA hotline, that number is on your screen. Our Morgan Trow spoke with the Domestic Violence Service Agency about why they believe the pandemic has led to shocking increases in violence. The full report will be in our newscast at 6.
The trial of the former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin continues today. Now, yesterday, George Floyd's brother, Philonise Floyd, was overcome with emotion as he told jurors about the close relationship Floyd had with their mother, who died in 2018.
He was just kissing her and just kissing her. He didn't want to leave the casket. And everybody was like, come on, it's going to be okay.
The spark of life testimony came ahead of a use of force expert who says it was unreasonable for Derek Chauvin to hold Floyd down for more than 9 minutes last May. Cardiologist Jonathan Rich also echoed previous medical testimony that Floyd's heart stopped due to low oxygen levels caused by the officer's actions and not drug or underlying health conditions, as the defense has suggested.
So in other words, if he had gotten in the squad car, he'd be alive.
Had he not been restrained in the way in which he was, I think he would have survived that day. I think he would have gone.
The defense is expected to start its case today as officials ramp up law enforcement presence across the Twin Cities. Looking locally now, big news for parents and students in the Meade School District. Starting next Friday, all students will be able to return to full-time in-person learning. That was unanimously passed by the board just last night. The board also amended their social distancing guidelines from 6 feet to 3 feet. Students who want to remain virtual for the rest of the year still can.
And coronavirus protocols will still be in place, such as wearing a mask at all times. The Meade School District now joins Freeman and Central Valley School District in returning kids back to in-person classroom full-time. Dr. Fauci says he hopes all high school students will be able to get vaccinated by early fall. Pfizer asked federal regulators on Friday to authorize its vaccine for kids as young as 12 years old. They announced Friday that their clinical trials show it's both safe and effective.
Well, here are 3 things you need to know about COVID-19 today. Number 1, the CDC says the rise in coronavirus cases in the upper Midwest can be traced to the variant first detected in the UK. In hardest hit Michigan, where infections are near its pandemic highs, the virus is spreading more easily among school-aged children. More than 1 in 4 in the state is testing positive, and Michigan is seeing a positivity rate nearly 3 times the national average. The state's governor is now calling for a 2-week pause in youth sports and in-person learning in high schools. Number 2, more than 46% of adults nationwide have at least one COVID shot, and nearly 30% are now fully vaccinated. Now there's a push for younger people to get their doses. Right now, the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine is the only one that has been granted emergency use authorization for people aged 16 years and older. Companies are now asking the FDA to expand that authorization to include children as young as 12. And third, here in Washington, a new report from the Department of Health shows the variants first detected in the UK and California are the most prevalent types of coronavirus variant in Washington state. The report, published last Thursday, collected and sampled specimens between December 2020 and March of 2021. As of last Thursday, the variant first detected in California has appeared the most, with 870 cases during that time. And between January and March of this year, 321 cases of the variant first detected in the UK were also found. And new this week, the Grant County Health District has also confirmed 3 cases of the variant first detected in California in their county.
Well, coming up this morning, we want to see all your photos of the Palouse Falls. After the break, we're going to tell you about the National Magazine calling it one of the best waterfalls in the United States.
Plus, today's the first day that ramp meters will be used here in Spokane on I-90. In our next half hour, we'll tell you how they work and what you should expect on your commute.
And today it's going to be a bit windy, but as we head through the rest of the week, temperatures are on the rise. We'll talk your odds of hitting 70 this weekend.